So we're up to session 4 now. Who remembers what happened in session 3?
We chased Randus, killed Randus right before he got tried to escape on an airship that was docking for him. The intern comes from a very powerful family, wealthy family that can afford airships. We
I,
went.
I'm sorry, but this needs to be put in there. Is he didn't just get killed. He said something like, "You'll never find who I work for," and then Lee's just like, "Okay," and throws him out.
I believe you.
We met Pebble. Pebble joined us on the chase, which is a very bubbly penguin or
Angle.
Tangle.
penguin. Yeah, I knew it was peng something. Penguin. Um, we went back to the temple and uh, we then realized that we were going to go back inside to where we were going to go back inside to get the rest of the documents that we did not get because we left to go chase Randus. Um, we we yeah, then
we found I know we found the body of the person that he replaced.
yeah,
Um
The real
Yeah, we took
intern.
it with us.
we
Right.
did.
You were also carrying the body of Randus for a while there. You dragged him back.
Yeah, we had to keep that tradition going.
Hmm.
We're also I'm blanking on what item we're carrying, but we're carrying a magical item that we're gonna have we're gonna we had to come up with a way to retrieve it or to not get it taken from us when we
Uh,
eventually leave and get searched by the Church of the Silver Flame.
right. Randus stole some sort of magical tablet that has sigils that are sort of dancing along the surface of it that constantly change. Um, it's not so clear. So you're sure that they're going to search the chests to see, because the deal that Elatal worked out was you could take stuff as long as it's basically not like specifically sacred texts or magical texts. So you're sure they're going to check inside the chests as you take them out. It's not so clear that they're going to search your person, and it's not clear they know what they're looking for in any event. So even if they found this thing on you, they can't necessarily, they might not be able to say, hey, you just took that from the chest, as opposed to you came here with it.
Yeah, it's fair.
You did search the chest and found that none of you could identify the language that the bulk of the text are written in, so you couldn't read any of it. There are hundreds and hundreds of pounds of documents, so you didn't read through all of them to see if they're all in that one and only one language. But your quick investigation through the chest didn't turn up anything you could understand.
Yeah.
You found a deck of illusions on that Randus had used briefly to summon up the image of a Medusa, and I believe Paelius is now carrying that.
We did fight the red slod too.
Right.
Yeah.
On the way out, you ran past the red slot. And then when you came back in to get back to the chest, it was in your path, so you had to fight and kill it in the hallway. It had slaughtered the goblins who were in that opening chamber that leads directly up to the temple. And we left it off. You're still in the room with all the documents after
Oh,
having just
also
yeah,
you discovered that Pebble can't read.
that's true.
sure.
And
How big is this tablet?
it's not that big. It's like iPad size, but about an inch thick.
Hmm.
So it weighs 2 pounds. But I was curious. So did Pebble just off? I mean, I know Mike, you offered up that Pebble can't read, but did Pebble offer up that Pebble can't read, or did Pebble just like start picking up documents and be like, holding it upside down?
Yeah.
What
Yeah, that was it.
about that door? What do you think? You think a pirate lives back there? You mean the door marked
Exactly.
private?
So as you finish searching through or doing a quick investigation of these chests, you're pondering how you're going to get them out of here exactly. All of you begin to feel almost like static electricity rolling across the surface of your skin, and you hear a popping sound from the room to the south. And all of you would recognize that this is something that often happens with the bite, and it probably means something is phasing its way into the room to the south. You immediately begin to hear the sound of screams that sound goblinoid. And then there's the sound of fighting and more screaming.
Never a moment's rest. What of these can we carry?
If only we had a strong intern to carry this chest and we didn't have to kill them.
We have many interns upstairs, but it doesn't help us now. We need to get these past the fog.
It sounds like we'll have more than chests to deal with across the way. Do you hear that?
Of course. Well, we have this other path. Oh, maybe.
I guess we'll explore. Elzen will take one of the torches and kind of start peering down the way.
So down this hallway, there were 3 more chests that you found, but then it just dead ends.
Okay. Did we search through these chests too, or did we
Yeah.
just search through the chest in the main room?
No, you searched through all the chests.
Okay.
It might dead end. I'm gonna just sort of examine walls, make sure that it does actually dead end.
Okay.
I'll throw out a dancing lights so that I could see a little better.
So yeah, you search, you think pretty thoroughly, and you don't. It just appears to be a wall.
Well, it might be a little bit of back and forth. We might have to do this a couple of times. We should grab one of these chests, or 2 if possible, and then attempt to make our way out of here.
So you definitely could. I mean, the little chests weigh about 50 pounds each. So you probably could carry one of them each. Maybe not Mbop, given her age. But the big chest weighs a couple 100 pounds. You'd have to drag that out of here.
I mean, guys, we could just hey, we don't need to carry any of these things. Right?
We need these chests, and we need to get them through the bite.
But they're just full of these like dead leaves.
Yeah, I'm aware. Don't worry about it. You let the big kids think.
Okay.
Now I'm starting to like them.
I
So the sound of the screaming stops in the room to the south.
I'm going to examine ahead. Shh. Pick up a chest, please.
Elzen casts.
They're too
Blade.
heavy for me.
Yeah, Elzen's a halfling. He can't move. He has no. He can't do these. That's I think that's strength is his dump stat. So
Yeah, I guess a 10 strength, and I'm also small size, so
I have a 9.
shit. I'm technically stronger than you.
Well, I have the size advantage.
Alzin's gonna
So
cast Blade Ward on himself.
because Pebble wants to work smarter, not harder, he ties a string to one of the handles of the chest and then ties the other end to the end of his trident and begins pulling the trident over his shoulder to drag the chest. He's not getting very far though. He's mostly just running in place.
Do
Can
I
you
hear anything as I move down here?
Oh, I didn't notice you moved. At this point, so give me a perception check. So you really don't hear anything anymore. There's an occasional drip of water in the room beyond, but otherwise it's pretty silent.
Well, hopefully I am also silent as I creep forward. I forget the lighting in this room.
There's really
Uh,
no lighting in this room.
okay. Yeah, my I don't have my dancing lights follow me. They're gone. I'll get them back out
Right.
if I need
You
them.
do, so there is a torch an ever burning torch that is here laying on the ground. And you do see the faint flickers of some firelight, probably more torches in the room beyond, but they're not directly in your line of sight where you are. But go ahead and give me a stealth check just to see how stealthy you're being.
Got this. Really?
I mean, whatever may be down there, it's against their passive perception, so maybe that's fine.
Right.
You think you're pretty well hidden. So getting to that point, you can see into the room, but you don't see anything.
Right. Um, that torch on the wall.
No, it's on the ground.
Um, all right. So I'm just gonna I want to peek around the corner, I guess. I can't tell actually how this is shaped. Okay. I wanna I wanna pick up that torch and move it and just kind of bring it back here essentially.
Okay. So you throw the torch back behind you.
Um,
You still don't. So from there, with your dark vision, you can see that there are a few dead goblins in the room beyond who apparently decided to brave their way into the mist.
right.
Guess I should see. Let me see exactly. So yeah, you can barely make out the corpse of a goblin sitting on the ground. When you get there, you see on the ground munching on this goblin, there is a mass of bodies. At least it's hard to describe. It's almost like an ooze, but you can see faces that are devouring the body of the goblin. Let me find it. That looks like this.
Okay. Get some details here, but all right. It's certainly something. Big? How big?
It's 15 feet across, this whole blob.
Okay. Um, so I I watched for just a moment, I guess, before heading back to inform the gang. Um, well, we're certainly going to have something to deal with up ahead. Massive faces on larval bodies.
Oh
Just in
dear.
case that freaks you out.
Does when he describes that, um, does that ring? Does that ring a bell for Elzen?
Anybody who's trained in religion could make a check.
No.
So, so wait, is it like, is it really hot? Is it fire?
No fire.
But
Just
you
strange
said they
larval.
lava bodies.
I just turn away. So, what do we think?
I thought you meant attractive.
So most of the
Was
stuff we
expecting,
want.
Sexy
yeah,
slugs. No.
right. They exist. I expected Paolis to say they exude a certain confidence.
So is most of the stuff we want in the one chest, the big chest?
So you couldn't read any of it. As near as you could tell, all of these documents are related. Like the stuff you saw is mostly in the same language that you couldn't read.
Right.
So this whole thing is probably, the archive that you've come to collect.
Okay. I guess my question is, it looks like there's one maybe I'm wrong. There's one big chest in here and some smaller ones. Can you
Right.
consolidate all the random shit into one chest, maybe have it open, or are they packed full?
So all of the chests are relatively full. You could definitely consolidate some of the chests into the bigger chest. You couldn't take everything out of the bigger chest and shove it into the smaller ones.
Right, right. Okay. So yeah, I'll just try to grab some of the stuff from the other chest and dump it into the big chest,
Mhm.
and then hopefully I can close it, like, push it closed. And then how much does Pebble weigh?
Uh, 48 pounds.
Okay. I just walk over to Pebble and I pick him up and sit him on the big chest, and then I
Oh,
tie a rope around the big chest and start pulling it towards the in the middle of the room.
this
So,
is much easier.
so what is your strength?
12.
Okay.
I'm
Um,
dragging it.
so yeah, it is an effort for you to drag this chest.
Right.
Especially with a 50-pound penguinoid on top of it for some reason. But Pebble gets, a free ride. And you drag it to the center of the room.
Pebble, are you able to make ice or something to help slide this chest?
I got ice on my belly.
We
Well,
put the chest on top of Pebble.
I think we have something here. This could solve two
Right.
problems.
We use Pebble as a sledge to get the chest out of here.
um, Alzen puts bends down to the ground and puts his palm on the ground and pulls out uh pulls out the uh Hitarius. Let me pull it up. He pulls out his staff uh and kind of wields it with like two hands. He's like prepping for whatever, prepping for getting ready for these creatures.
It is a bit of a swarm, so the more area effects you can do, the better. Not my forte.
Not quite mine either.
Sure could use a wizard. Well, shall we? I don't exactly wish to go first, but
Lee,
I'll have Umbop push behind.
I might
Yeah.
be able to distract him.
Umbop has once again dozed off. So
I land on the chest
yeah.
asleep.
right, you drape her over the chest.
So I'm gonna like pull out the deck of illusions and be
Mhm.
ready and just sort of be ready with it. That bright light. You bring a torch in my face.
sorry, do you prefer the darkness?
Always.
Well,
All right. I will attempt to see if we can distract it. This pile of whatever. I think it was about here. Yeah, there it is. What's the range on this thing? Kind of how far can I throw these fucking cards?
So I assume you're still moving stealthily?
Yeah, oh yeah, 1000%. Because I'd like to like take the card and throw it out like over towards this wall. Or I guess really, yeah, somewhere around here probably. Um,
So sorry, where are you throwing it? I was just checking the description to see how far you could throw.
yeah, I was looking too. I don't
It says
see.
it says 30 feet.
Yeah, 30 feet. Okay, okay.
Just pretty good
Um,
throw for a playing card.
yeah. Um, but I probably need to more carefully go out there. Um, I'll just stick to the edge in the darkness, creeping along. Um, yeah, so I think that is probably good now. Yeah, that's good enough. We'll get that tossed over in that little corner. Somewhere around here, basically.
Okay. So do you have the list of cards?
Let's see here. So one of them was used, right? And then I don't know if
So
I got
the
your
used
list.
one, right? So
Where's
the
your
used
list?
one, where is my list? The used one I did not include in the list of things that were left. Uh, Actually, now I'm having trouble finding the list. I think I know where it is. Hold on. Huh, nope. Well, that's a shame. I spent some time drawing it up and now I can't find it. Probably in my email. Yeah, here it is. So yeah, roll a 1d19.
D19. Okay.
There are 19 cards in the deck.
Okay. Slash R 1D19. 7.
So you hurl a card across and you see the image of a gnoll carrying a sword and in armor appears in that spot. And this blob creature immediately notices it. Let me see if I can find a gnoll real quick. I thought I placed the gnoll on the table. There he is. And so it immediately begins moving in that direction. The gnoll, seeing it, readies its weapons. We might as well roll for initiative now so that everybody can decide what they're doing.
Okay.
Let me make sure I cleared that thing.
Just roll.
Going over fast.
So, Pebble, you can go first if there's anything you want to do.
Pebble can't see anything, and he's just enjoying being carried, so he's just gonna sit there and kind of pick at his feathers.
Okay. Lee, are you doing anything?
Um, I'm remembering, like, trying to remember this room, and I'm trying to assess how long it's going to take me to pull this shit across the room, especially with the blight, with the bite here. I'm assuming it's going to take me. It's probably going to be difficult.
I mean, so it'll take you probably once you get the chest down there, like at least 2 rounds to drag it all the way across the room. Right? You can't fly and drag it, so you don't have
Right.
your
Oh yeah,
fly
I know
speed.
that. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And so you're basically dragging it at just like a couple feet around. But, take your action and your move action and you can double that.
okay. Well, if I think it's only, I mean, I was thinking it was going to take a lot longer. If I think it's only going to take like
Yeah, it
a
could
couple of
take it
rounds to.
could yeah, it could take like 3 or 4 rounds for you to get it
Okay.
across.
Well, okay. All right. Then I will. If I see I don't know if I can see that. I'll at least start making my way down the steps. Like I'm sure this thing's got, like backing up, trying to keep it from sliding down the steps.
Well, that could be fun for Pebble though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's so fun.
Maybe less fun for you if you're in front of the chest.
Yeah, I knew these guys were fun guys, and it was good to chase with them.
So as the only Paelius can see this, but as you're watching this blob move towards the illusion of the knoll, you see one of the heads of the blobs begins to pull away and separate and fly into the air. and it is also flying after the knoll.
Is it
And
like
it's
its own? It's just one of the larvae, or does it look different?
it looks so the larvae themselves seem to have bodies. This thing seems to have pulled away from its body, and it's just like a head dragging entrails at this point. But it's also flying, which distinguishes it from the mass of the swarm.
Okay, like a Varg.
Like one, except it's got more of a twisted demon head than a vampire head.
Got it.
Hawks Eberron. Body
But
hole.
it's Paelius's turn.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that, but I say, I basically come in here to attempt to help. So action, or I movement, bonus action. Or I guess I don't know if I need a bonus action. Can I just like take the help action maybe to help the carry move along, or
Right. I would say the two of you working in concert can probably move it twice as fast.
okay,
So, if you both take your action and your move action to drag this thing, you can get it to go like 20 feet around rather than 10.
got it. Um, so yeah, I mean I can just move to here and then I don't know, reserve my action to do to I don't know, do something. I don't know how that's going to work out, but
Right. So they're almost certainly they're going to notice when you're dragging the chest through the room. They haven't noticed Paelius because Paelius is purposefully being stealthy.
yeah. Well, that's why I'm kind of hoping maybe we could, if I can help to lift it off the ground, it'll make slightly less noise. They'll be distracted long enough for us to at least get most of the way through.
So the chest itself weighs about 350 pounds, not counting Pebble and Mbop laying across the top of it. So it's pretty heavy to just lift.
My push drag lift is 270.
Right. So you couldn't drag this by yourself. Lee is a little bit stronger than you.
Hence why I'm helping. Sure.
So neither of you is as strong as Randus was. If only he were here.
Yeah.
That's why we
Pour,
brought him.
pour one out for Randus.
Nope.
So Elzin, what are you doing?
Elzen is going to step forward, um, carrying this torch to like get a peek into the room a little bit.
So from there you can see dimly the flying head and the swarm of larvae that appear to be attacking the illusionary knoll.
um, hmm. Oh, I meant to not. I didn't mean to do that. No, it sounds like it makes a lot of noise. Can't do that quietly. I'm just gonna take my I'm gonna hold my action until I'm gonna hold it for until or yeah, hold it until they are aware of us and make a move. Like
Okay.
a hostile move.
Okay. So the swarm attacks the knoll. It hasn't realized it's an illusion. And we're back to Pebble.
I'm just like trying to push. Would you get off of there?
So Pebble, he taps me on the shoulder. It's like, do you see that? Do you see that? It's so gross. It's so gross. What is that?
Not friendly.
Don't touch it. But if it gets close, stab it with your trident.
Oh yeah, just stabby stab.
Take the string off first.
Oh, good idea. I forgot about that. Other than that, he does nothing.
Okay. Lee.
Push this thing. Well, drag this thing across the room.
So if you use your action and your move
Yep.
with Paelius's help,
Yep.
you can basically move 20 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna try to get turn around and ask Paelius which. Do I don't have dark.
I mean, there's a torch in Elzin's hand, so you can still see.
Okay, so I can kind of see, yeah, because on the thing I really can't see where the hell I'm going. All right, so come on.
It's basically straight across the room. We don't need to go that way. Right, because we came from the left side, right? To get into here. I don't actually know because I didn't
Oh,
see.
yeah, you have to go across to the right side of the room.
Okay.
So you have to go east.
I wasn't here for the exploration part of this dungeon.
So each square is 5.
Yes.
Okay, so I went down the steps. That's 20 so far.
Right. So in the distance across the room, you can see there are more torches lying on the ground next to the
Okay.
bodies of these dead goblins.
Do I get to follow or
So are you trying to be stealthy? Because you're going to have disadvantage on being stealthy because you're dragging this chest.
I just don't think there's a way you could be stealthy with that chest. It's going to drag across the ground. It's going to make a shitload ton of noise. So.
Right. So when you actually enter the room, they will notice that you're there. Though at the moment, they're still focused on this knoll that they think is in front of them. So both the head and the larvae have attacked the knoll and found their attacks passing through it. So it's not necessarily clear how long they'll stay focused on the knoll when they see other things trying to escape. But their attention is currently focused on it. You can see some of the heads of the swarm have turned to look in your direction now that you've entered the room. Let me see this thing, what the little head does. It's still focused on the knoll. By Elias.
did I get to follow them in?
Yeah, you could follow them in.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I just want to keep this up. I'm watching these guys though. Um, and if they start moving towards us, I'm just gonna back up. Otherwise, I'm with Lee and carrying this. chest.
Okay. So Elzen, they've definitely noticed that Lee is dragging the chest into the room. They just haven't reacted to it as they're focusing on this knoll. But several of the heads of the larvae are looking backwards at Lee.
Okay. Um, Elzen will inch forward, to the edge of the bite as close as he can get to it. And he'll maintain the same thing as he did, where he's still not going to attack, but he's going to ready his action.
Okay. So the swarm continues to attack the illusionary knoll, though you see inside this mass of flesh that is the swarm of larvae, uh, a new larva begins to form, and it appears to have a goblinoid head that breaks off and flies into the air. And it's Pebble's turn.
Well, that's terrifying.
Pebble is
Elden
just
attempted to
being
shoot it.
dragged along. I like to imagine, maybe not because of the situation, but I would like to imagine Pebble going wee as he's being dragged like 5 feet.
Oh, certainly down the stairs. He did it internally because he does know that people are trying to be quiet, and he doesn't want to like make his new friends sad at him. Uh, but yeah, as that thing pops off and flies up, he's like, "Oh, it's a bird." Wait, it don't look like a bird, guys. What is that?
It is an
Nothing
abomination.
good.
Are we gonna keep watching these guys, or are we gonna get out? Like, what are we doing here?
Feel free to help us. We're trying to move this chest out.
I thought I was helping.
Well, let's.
I mean, yeah, that guy he put me up here, so I thought that this was my job. I thought I was doing a good job.
You're doing a fine job.
Don't read too much into it. You're your own person. Do what you like.
I am doing what
As long as you're quiet about it. Let's keep moving.
stealth mode.
So Lee,
Yeah, same deal. 10, 15, 20. Yeah. Yeah.
so this other head is actually going to fly up and try to bite Lee. Well, would he do that or? So instead of that, you see this goblinoid, sort of demonic goblin-looking head begins to grow a beak and take on the image of Lee. And I need you to make me a wisdom save.
Oh, even better. What's my wisdom save? — 14. Eh,
Early levels might be all right.
Yeah.
So you feel unsettled by this, but otherwise there's no effect. You do get the sense, though, that it was trying to invade your mind.
I think does Elzen see that from where he's at?
You see that it flew up to him and started to change into the form of his head.
Yeah, yeah, Elzen uh he's gonna shoot an Eldritch Blast at him. He's like, that can't be good. Yeah.
Okay, roll to hit.
Yep. Uh, here
And as it's happening, Pebble's like, "Look out, Lee! Your head is attacking."
well,
Yes, that
Oh.
misses.
yeah. Well,
Pielis is just like, ugh, mimicry, the poorest form of it.
that's his turn.
Let me check for this other one to see if it figures out what's going on. Nope. So
Still
Pielis,
at it.
yep, still attacking the null.
Perfect. Well, might be time for me to go ahead and just take a quick step to here. Maybe I might be okay here. I'm gonna pull out the bow and shoot at the flying face.
Okay,
God, fucking kidding me.
so that misses.
Sure does.
Anything else?
No, not really. I'll back up a little bit. 5, 10, 15. Yeah. Your turn.
So yeah, Elzen's turn.
I will get you. And he shoots another one. Come on.
So that one definitely connects. It is unfortunately only a glancing blow, but you do definitely damage it as this image of Lee's head starts to spin around in the sky.
Uh, that's gonna be his turn.
And then I get back here, you blast. I'm like, oh my, you're so flashy. So much, drawing so much attention to yourself.
Hearing all of this, the swarm seems to turn its attention to the group as it starts to move forward.
Well, I think the time for secrecy is past.
Indeed.
I mean, Pebble is right there, so the larvae head are gonna try to bite Pebble.
Yeah.
Piece of that penguin pie. Penguin pie.
But not make it. Now it's Pebble's turn.
Don't worry, Lily. I got you. And he's gonna attack the Lee head.
That hits.
And then bonus action, unarmed strike. Oh, well, yeah.
That also hits. You can see the head is starting to lose the shape of Lee's face, but it is still flying. It looks like Lee's face, but it looks like you've now punched into a clay rendition of Lee's face. So the beak is all bent and caved in.
Oh, Lily, you got a weak beak.
Lee, it's your turn.
Okay,
You,
so
you could continue to drag. Now you're moving at only 10 feet around. 5 feet for your dash and 5 feet for your movement. And this thing might get an opportunity attack, both the
Right,
swarm
yeah.
and the head.
Yeah, at this point, yeah. So let's see. I turn to the head and I'll drop the rope and pull out the scimitar and attack it. Yuck. That is probably a miss.
Yeah, that's a miss.
And then I'll attempt to bash it with my shield.
That's a hit.
Okay. And I'm not raging, so
So the head at least looks like it's pretty close to being destroyed, but it's still holding
Okay.
together.
Okay.
Uh, make a macro for this. Uh, it is actually it turns to Pebble and begins to form a little penguin head shape. And Pebble can now make me a wisdom save.
Oh no! Uh,
You also feel vaguely unsettled, but nothing happens to you as a result. The other one is still attacking the knoll. Paelius.
Okay. Bonus action. Step into the shadows here to stealth, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
If I suppose I'll roll a stealth.
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ!
So you think you're stealthy.
Yeah.
You're in the shadows.
I'm just
You've
gonna.
you've noticed that these things seem to be moving around in the dark without much problem. So you imagine they have dark vision.
Yeah.
I could just imagine Pebble sitting on the chest, pointing his trident over in Paelius. Get him, Paelius!
I'm gonna go after the flying face, I guess. Right, quick. Bow. You got to be shitting me, dude. What the fuck are these rolls?
Yeah, that misses.
It's not roll under. You gotta roll.
Different game system.
I'll teach that website to roll shit for me. I'm just gonna close it till it's my turn again, fuckers.
So
Get no
Elton,
traffic from me.
Elzen is going to is he going to do anything different? I don't think so. Because when it hits, it's pretty good. There we go.
so you completely blast apart this image of Pebble's head.
Got him.
Thank you, Alfie.
And it goes flying back from where you are. Anything else you're doing?
That's it.
So the swarm is going to try to bite Pebble again.
Come on, come on. I dare you. Ow.
So you are grappled as it is dragging you into its oozing flesh,
Alright.
and you take 5 damage. That's its turn. Pebble's turn.
Um, do I any like disadvantage or anything from being grappled by this guy?
It's whatever the normal effects of grappled are.
Okay.
You know, you can't move basically because it has you.
Okay. Well, now you're trapped here with me. He starts stabbing with his trident.
That hits.
And then unarmed strike.
That does not.
And that'll be my turn.
I'm just imagining a flailing penguin, you know?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I hadn't thought to picture what it looks like when you're using like flurry of blows or something like that. How your attacks look. Is it like Yoda? You're leaping around.
Yes, but in this sense, being wrapped in tentacles, he used his beak to try to get a stab in and missed. His beak is just too short.
That's even funnier. A little penguin headbutt.
Yeah.
So Lee,
All right.
Pebble is now being absorbed. You can see it is trying to envelop him completely.
So could I reach and grab Pebble and try to pull him out of there? Is that something that would like
Nope,
aid him
you
on his turn or
you could do that. It would be an athletics check.
and I'm at disadvantage? Yeah, I'm gonna have to try it. I don't.
Pebble sees what you're doing and he says, "Don't worry, I got him. Just wait.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I just need one more second to get to a little talent. My foot, my foot's stuck."
All right. I will attack him. I'll attack not Pebble, but I'll attack the creature then with the scimitar. 8 slashing.
Nice.
So you slash into it pretty effectively.
All right, and then I bash it with the shield.
So that doesn't do as much damage, but it seems to suffer
Okay.
some wound from the shield.
Keep on kicking, Pebble.
I I got it. Youpsie. I got it. But you take
After
the
those
Julie. Hey.
After those attacks, you can see some of the heads are now laying seemingly dead in the mass of flesh,
All right.
but other heads are still active.
Okay.
Let's see if this one figures out. Nope. By Elias.
Beautiful. I'm just gonna like try and use some of the debris to hide again.
Try to roll over a 5.
Yeah, it'd be cool, right? Oh my god. You had to say 5, dude. Yeah, that's what I fucking rolled.
So you think you're hidden.
Yeah. And then short bow, here we go.
Whoa!
Who hit?
Big money.
I believe this will roll the sneak attack as well, so
And so because you are actually hidden relative to this thing, it's a crit.
oh,
And
nice.
so you manage to obliterate it with an arrow that passes through several of its remaining heads. All of the larvae fall over. and the mass quivers and stops moving.
Woohoo! Good job, Penny.
One more flying flesh thingy. That's it though.
Okay. Elzen,
Uh, is there it, well, is there another head that's floating?
there is, I guess because you're a halfling, you probably can't see it because it's in the darkness.
Ah, yes. He would bring the torch forward a little bit, but I don't know if that is helpful to see it.
No, it's outside the range of the torch, I think.
Okay.
Let me see. Yes, it's still outside the range of the torch.
Um, he's going to you're Peleus. Is Peleus in the bite or is he in that patch?
No, he's in the bite. The patch is over here, and you noticed that as you came in, the bite had expanded a little bit, so you're not sure if that patch is clear, and you can't see it in the darkness from where you are.
Okay. Elzen just kind of holds his breath and he's gonna run uh to where Pengle is at, or not Pengle, Pebble.
Are you taking the torch or are you running into the darkness?
He's taking the torch. He's got like it held aloft in one hand and the staff in the other.
So from there, you can vaguely make out the shape of this head.
Down. And he will shoot it.
And you hit it. You hear a demonic scream come from its lips.
Got him.
The larvae are gone, so it's Pebble's turn.
Hi, let's get the show on the road. And he kind of just like kicks at the chest and says, "Let's go!"
There's one more. You hear from the darkness.
Shoot it.
I'm lining up my shot. Not my turn yet.
So Lee, it's your turn.
I'll pick up the rope, keep dragging this thing.
Okay, so you make it another 10 feet.
Okay. All right.
Uh, this one, angry that Elzen shot at it, is going to fly up to Elzen.
I
Uh,
assume Pebble isn't actually there since he's on the chest.
right.
I can imagine Pebble kicking it and it's already slid away and he's still trying to kick it. And oh, it's left.
So it is going to form an image of your head, changing its shape. So give me a wisdom save.
All right. Ah, I'm an action like that.
So you make it. Feel unsettled, but you don't take damage and you're not frightened. And that's his turn. Paelius.
Let's do a stealth. Cool. And then we'll shoot at him.
That hits.
Okay, thank fuck. All right. Cool. And I'll get that sneak attack.
So you land an arrow, and again there is a scream, this time in Elzin's voice. And it's Elzin's turn.
Elzen is gonna shoot it again.
So that would be a hit, but it's a ranged attack at disadvantage.
Elzen has spell sniper.
Okay.
Nice.
Does that allow you to make ranged attacks?
It does. I can make range attacks
Does it impose disadvantage?
Oh,
with 5 feet.
I did not remember that. Okay. So that hits. And you partially obliterate the image of your own face, although it is a demonic and twisted image of your own face.
I wear it better.
Pebble.
Yeah, he was gonna move away.
Does
Yeah,
your Eldritch Blast prevent him from taking opportunity attacks?
uh, you're right. Because he hit, he's gonna do the staggering blast. So yeah, he will have um mm, he will not be able to take reactions. So yeah, he can step away.
Okay.
Take his torch with him. It's like here.
So Pebble will leap from the chest at the creature, striking, I like to imagine, midair with his trident.
Jeez.
So Pebble leaps like 15 feet from the top of the chest and drives his trident completely through the flying head,
I'm,
severing it in two.
I imagine you just like stand up, wee, and then you're like, from my perspective from down here, I just see like this body flying across.
You know
Like you're
what?
sideways, I can see your face.
It's kind of, you know what it reminds me of, and I think this is the perfect way of doing it. When what is it, guys? The when from Big Trouble in Little China, in when he's like going through the air with the sword. This that's exactly what happens.
Right. So you see the top of Elzin's head lands on the ground, eyes wide, looking stunned, looking back and forth. The other half, the jaw flies across the room.
Skewered on the trident.
And then he belly dashes back to the chest.
Right. Straddling the chest and kicking it with his little feet. Tellingly,
Sa-
tellingly,
saying,
giddy up.
Giddy up.
Yeah,
Giddy up.
yeah, lady.
Cool. Now we leave.
No, right. So the room is again empty. Give it time and something probably will find its way into the bite again, but for now it's cleared.
Let's get this one out of here.
You guys have so much fun. I'm so glad I decided to run on that chase with you.
I,
It is pretty fun.
So
Yeah.
as you start to drag the chest up the stairs on the far side of the room, you can see the leader of the goblins is standing nearby the open secret door. You can also see they seem to have dragged out Teosh Fanon's body, which is now laying in the hallway. You can see there is a mass of goblins behind him, which is probably most, if not all, of the remaining goblins who are down here. And the leader of the goblins sees you dragging a chest and says, "Where do you think you're going with our treasure?"
These are just papers.
Papers that apparently you guys have been searching for. So papers of some worth to you. That means valuable.
Listen, if you're gonna try and be highwaymen, I'll just burn them. I will make sure that nobody gets them.
Well, we're not highwaymen, we're delvers with an official license to take everything of value that we find out of this level.
We get conflicting. We also have orders for here. Just
Be rest assured, this is of no value to you.
Like I said, if it's of value to you, it's of value to us because you'll pay us to let you take it out of here. Because that's our charter. You're shepherds. I doubt you have an official city license to take anything out of here.
Well, how much do you want?
not pay this creature.
Well, let's see his price.
Let us take a look inside the chest.
Yep, yeah, you have to get off.
If they want to open it,
Sure.
And I at least pull. I'm going to pull at least the chest up top here, so I'm not holding it up on the stairs.
yeah. Well, let's get in here.
My token got caught
Yes. You
in.
moved out of the universe.
No clipping.
How many goblins are there?
So you see several of the artificers with their bombs, and then maybe you see three of those, and then you see maybe 8 or 9 other goblins, plus their
Okay.
leader. You can see, by the way, there is actually this guy here is dead too. I just forgot to put the X. 2 of the goblins seem to have stumbled too close to the bite, and there are those larvae eating their flesh.
Down the steps or up here?
Up here in the southern part of this other room.
Okay.
Must say this is a very nice thank you, a reward for saving you from the fate of your brethren over in the bite there, who looking at the larvae, like the larvae, half-eaten goblins, clearly didn't fare too well. I'm sure with your numbers here, you could have eventually taken them, but I doubt all of you have lived.
You're right. Delving can be a dangerous profession.
So thank you for shaking us down after we've done your dirty work to save the rest of your crew.
I mean, you didn't do it to do us any favors. If we weren't here, you probably would just wander out with a treasure chest filled with stuff.
But we did do you a favor.
But for your own purposes. I'll tell you what,
That is
whatever I
irrelevant.
was going to charge you, I will knock a reasonable amount off of our fee. Now, can we look inside the chest?
I don't understand why there's so much going on about this chest. It's just a bunch of dead leaves in there.
Go ahead.
So he goes over and opens up the chest.
I'm going to back away from the chest, like I'm afraid something is going to come out of it. So I'm slowly backing away from it.
Okay, give me, I don't know if you want to do deception or intimidation.
For performance.
Yeah, they're all at disadvantage. Deception. Oh, I could try deception. 14. That's not bad.
Maybe could,
Whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa. What are you hiding in that chest? What's going to happen if I open it?
You
Why
said
don't
you
you
wanted to
find
open
out?
it. I'm just stepping back. I just getting some air. It was a long drag across the in that room. No problems. No worries. Don't
I d-
you're good.
So the goblin boss is going to back up and call for one of his minions.
There you go. That's how you do it.
That's called being prudent.
Right.
Is he the
See,
lowest
now,
ranking man in your group?
He's the newbie. He's our
Okay,
intern.
good. That's why you're the boss. Good call there.
and the goblin like walks up and like, good luck.
So the intern like reaches out, his arm shaking, afraid of what's going to happen, reaches out with his scimitar, and slowly begins to lift the latch on the chest and pushes the lid open with some effort on the goblin's part.
I go, I go, boo.
Yeah, and the goblin leaps back, jumping as you say boo, and like because the chest is now somewhat overstuffed, a book comes sliding out and hits the floor. But the goblin then comes forward and starts to read through the documents and says, "Hey, boss, it's just a bunch of it's a bunch of documents, all in our language. At least the ones I see are in our language." So the boss is going to come back over. What are you guys doing with a bunch of documents in the goblin language?
Well, you might recall we had a friend who was related in remotely, right? It's not like we're trying to screw you all over. We have a job, and it is to help everyone.
I don't know what your job is. Our job is to make money.
Our
Your
job
job
has
is to
noble
survive.
mission.
You're in a, you live in a horrendous place. Your job is to survive. Perhaps our work could help you.
In what way?
We, we just do this for our own benefit? It doesn't. Listen,
Nobody knows what the shepherd's goals are. We know that the city used to pay for the shepherds to do their work, and now they don't.
politics can be politics. I'm sure you've been victim of that as well.
Sure, but all we know is the shepherds are a bunch of wizards doing wizard shit.
Do I look like a wizard?
Yeah, you're like some mercenary they've hired. I get that. People hire us too. But whatever they're doing it because they want to do their wizard shit. And these are books. So, like I said, possibly valuable. But why do you need books in Goblin?
I mean,
It's a,
we didn't choose which language they were written in. They
This
were
is
like
true.
that when we found them.
These could all be cultural artifacts of our empire.
Well, then you should
Well,
start reading to see
Yeah.
if it's worth anything to you.
So he does pick up the book that slid onto the ground and start looking at it. And you watch him read.
I study his face.
Um, so he mostly looks a little bored.
Yeah, see, I don't think you there are a lot of goblins, but I don't think there's enough of you to go through all of these. Why don't you come back with us?
But once you get out of here, the wizards doing their wizard shit might refuse to pay us.
Why don't you come with us?
Tell you what, in light of the so-called service you've done for us, I will let you leave if you pay us 50 gold.
50 gold.
Surely these are worth more to your wizards than 50 gold. Can't you just charge them your expenses?
About 30,
I,
and we'll call it even.
I have 50 gold. I'll give you 50 gold.
So you can see
Uh,
he was seriously considering 30 gold, but
Oh, I know.
deal.
Allison like slowly turns to Pendrell, eye twitching just a little bit.
Don't listen to the don't listen to the little man. He can't count.
I can count. I just don't read leaves like you guys.
Count to 10.
Include myself to anyone.
So does Pebble pay him his 50 gold?
Yes.
Okay.
I would
Then
love it
he
if he pulled out like kind of rocks and things that like were gold to Pebble. He's like these old shells have to be worth something to you, right?
So he totally has all that stuff in his pouch where he carries his money.
so yeah, the Skyrmaz, the leader of the goblins, orders everyone to let you pass.
um, Says they're sort of like gearing up to grab the chest and start moving. I approach the goblin leader. I'm like, seriously, you should just trust us.
Why?
And I like put a hand around his shoulder. I'm not very tall either, so it's like a little easier for me to do it probably, even though he's a goblin. Like, what we're trying to do is end the bite.
I know of several people who will sell me something trying to end the bite. People who will
That's fair.
sell me things that will keep me completely secure from being in the bite, protect me from monsters, make me entirely healthy and immune to disease.
I well, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to tell you that those documents very well may be the actual way to do this. We didn't just come here on a whim, right?
Well, so then it was well worth the 50 gold your friend paid.
I think so, yes. I'm like, well, enjoy your spoils. Can I try and pickpocket the 50 gold?
You could try. It is there are other people around, but
Yeah, I don't try very hard at it. I was like, that was just because there's no way he doesn't spot them. I'm like, yeah, you couldn't fault me for trying. I'm not enjoying.
yeah, he
Just back
backs
up.
up and looks at you a bit hostile and says, "Well, I could fault you for trying,
Well,
but
you'll be
I
fine.
will let this one pass. Take your chest and drag it out of here. Good luck climbing up the ladder with it."
We got a big, strong bird with us.
It doesn't look that strong.
Stronger than you.
He puts the book that fell onto the ground back in the chest and closes the lid. His hand now firmly on his purse.
Well,
It's European.
best of luck.
And I hope your wizards enjoy their documents. Seems dull to me, but wizard shit.
Well,
I
it's,
already told you what they're for.
it's not
I'm
everyone's
walking
cup of
away.
tea.
Let me get out of here.
A different way.
I don't remember. Oh yeah, again, I wasn't here for the exploration part of it.
Right.
I
So
don't
you
know where things are.
basically you have to go this way through this room and then around again. But you don't encounter anything on your way back. So it takes a while to drag this chest through these catacombs. But eventually you make it back to the room with the ladder that leads up to the temple. There's also still that one vault door that nobody was able to open is still sealed in this room.
Mm,
I'm just gonna move everybody to that other room,
Yeah.
except that Elzen just jumped away, so I can't take Elzen. Elzen will
sorry.
stay here.
Vault door again. I've walked away from it a couple of times now, having been unsuccessful before.
Right. There's no obvious lock. There's just a wheel.
Now that I've had some time away and come back, can I try it one more time?
You could try.
What do
You've
we
gone
have
up a
here?
level, I think, since you tried it.
That's true. Yeah. What was the roll?
It's thieves' tools,
Okay.
but it would be thieves' tools with intelligence because you don't see a lock.
These tools. Did I tell you that? No, that did dexterity. Hold on. Query. There we go. With intelligence. Hey, still not bad.
So as you're fiddling around with this door lock, uh, you discover that on the ends of each of the wheel that controls this thing has like spokes on it, almost like a ship's wheel. And you discover that there are buttons at the end of each of these six spokes that come out of the wheel. Pressing them doesn't necessarily seem to do anything at first, but getting a little bit of help or otherwise jiggering the buttons, you're able to depress them all at once, and you are able to open the door, beyond which you see that there are 5 chests.
Oh, so hard. Let me if I discerned how to do it, I think I might wait
Okay.
to do it. Just because I don't want the goblins around whenever I open this fucking thing.
Okay.
Even
There
though
is
that
a
might
goblin.
Yeah, I know. So I'm just gonna kind of like wait a second. I was just like looking, and I'll bring these two in. Peng, yeah, the Penguin can do that. Pebbles can just run around in circles. That's exactly what we want.
Pebble
I just
Pebble has
imagine
the
I imagine
Pebble has
webbed
the
feet
zoomies.
just slacking against the floor.
I just imagine him sliding on his belly in circles as fast as he can for some reason.
I'll look. So I'll bring these two in. And I was like, I think I know how to open this thing.
Really?
If we do it, the goblins are going to like claim to it.
Well, of course.
Maybe we can delay our return just a little bit till they leave. Of course, then we might have to deal with the or the whatever they were upstairs. Maybe they'll go away too. I don't remember the plan with those guys or what they said their plan was.
The Silver Flame people said that they would let you take documents out as long as you let them inspect the chest and there's nothing magical or sacred about the documents you're removing.
Hmm. Um,
Well, if it's just, and he kind of gestures to the goblin, the one goblin in that room.
yeah.
If it's just
It's
him,
just right. One goblin who followed you along, probably because he was told to.
I can, I can, and I can make him indisposed if we want to. If you think you can open it, we can go in. Go in real quick.
I just look like, are you going to kill this man?
No,
Darn.
we don't need that kind of trouble.
Indeed. Well, if you have a good way of doing so.
And Elzen walks up to the goblin. He's like, "You're looking pretty tired."
I don't feel tired.
Are you sure about that?
I don't feel tardy.
Yeah.
See. Oh, he is underneath the ladder, so let me just move the ladder. So you cast this spell, and he starts to object, but you get it off, and he falls asleep.
Superb.
Wait, it nap time? Ah, I would love it right now.
All right, bye.
Go ahead, lay down. All right, help me with this.
And yeah, Elzen will help you depress all the switches.
There we go.
So you're able to open it, and there are 5 more chests in there of a different make than the ones you saw before. These are all covered in a thick layer of dust.
I'll examine the first one.
So I don't have individually what's in each one, but there are I mean, basically there is just stuff in these things. You find a couple thousand copper pieces, about 500 silver pieces, some gold, not that much gold. There are a couple of gems scattered through the different chests, an hourglass, and 4 blankets in the wooden box.
4 blankets.
Yes.
Do the
How much
blankets?
gold?
You'd have to, so you only have a minute before this goblin wakes up. So sifting through this to pick out the gold pieces would be a little hard, but there are, a few dozen gold.
Does it look like this could be closed and then reopened from this side?
From this side,
Yeah.
it looks like it could be closed. Could it be reopened? There,
That's
you,
my question. Yeah.
right. You don't see a handle on this side.
Okay.
I tell them when I see the blanket, I said, "Hand me the blanket."
There's
No,
a
it's
few
right.
of them.
It's a box basically that has 4 blankets in it.
Yeah, I tell them to hand me a blanket,
Here's a blanket.
hoping it's not has smallpox or something on it. And I'll go walk over to the goblin and put the blanket over him.
Fucking moth.
So when he
eaten.
wakes up, he'll have the blanket.
Like he did this on purpose.
Right.
Well, he took a nap. I got to keep him warm.
So what
Um,
in the minute, what could we get out?
what
Yeah, I
feasible?
mean, you could each grab a gem, and the hourglass is pretty obvious.
I definitely would want to grab that hourglass. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Does it
you
seem like a
could
nice
grab
hourglass?
uh it's you know, probably an art object of some sort. There's a pearlescent sand inside of it.
Nice.
It doesn't at first glance appear to be magical, but nothing in here seems to be magical as far as you can tell. So
That's fine.
you could each try to grab a gem and a handful of coins.
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
And then we close it again and then pretend like nothing happened.
So grabbing, presumably grab silver pieces because that's what's easier to grab.
I mean, I'm not going to avoid the gold pieces.
Well, yeah, but they're kind of
Right.
like in there,
Yeah.
Right. They are mostly scattered among the copper. There's one chest that has silver pieces in it. So those are the gems that you find.
Okay.
And you can each grab about 50 silver and 2 gold. Since you're picking through the copper to find the gold.
What was the copper?
There's a couple thousand copper. So
No,
you
like
can,
what do we pick?
oh, you each get like 50 silver and 2 gold. The
Okay,
gold just had to be picked out of the piles of copper coins.
got it.
I
I'm
like
gonna grab the eye agate.
yeah, I have the blue one. I really like the blue one.
I'll grab the blue quartz.
But that's what I want.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pebble, it is all yours. I didn't hear you.
I mean, yeah, if you really want, you can have it. I'll just take a different one. That's fine.
It is. I'll take the banded agate.
I'm just sure. I mean, I just I'm just so happy to be making new friends. So
I mean,
But
it
the blue
it
quartz
suits you.
looks sort of ice-like.
It suits you.
ah shit. That's so nice of you to say.
It matches your eyes.
Flirt
I-
later. Fill pockets now.
I'm glad.
Lee wasn't going to go in there because he's going to be on the other side just in case something happens. But once he sees them starting to pull out gems and coins, he's like, "Oh hell with that!" Goes in and grabs something.
Yep.
As the door to the vault slowly closes.
Yeah. So what's left?
So I assumed you were all going to go in and grab stuff. So
You're right.
I'll take one of Linkus. They look cozy.
right. So there are 5 gems that you can grab, and then the hourglass that I assume Paelius took.
Yes.
We're all out. Let's close this thing.
So you close it
Yes.
again just as the goblin begins to stir. Pulling the blanket around him for a second, trying to get another wink of sleep in. He then realizes that he's laying on the floor. And he
Well,
leaps up
you
and
must have been really tired.
looks at Elzen. I wasn't really tired. Someone cast a spell on me.
You looked
This
tired.
way.
No, I think you're
Yes.
stricken with narcolepsy.
Yeah, you just fell
It's been
asleep.
going
friend.
around.
I know what a spell sounds like. You think we haven't been hit by sleep spells before? All the time, we're hit with sleep spells.
We're just trying to like gaslight this guy. No way, you're
I
crazy.
just look
We
at
didn't
Els and
just put you to
I don't.
I just look over at it.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to cast a sleep spell.
You can't even put a sentence together.
Well,
My
you
magic.
did.
My magic is more like this, and he reaches down to the ground and brings up a rock spire and then throws it against the wall.
Well, you seem to be pretty proficient with magic.
With that kind of magic.
I think it's time for you to drag your chest up the ladder.
That's what we're doing.
You're trying to figure it out, and then you fell asleep.
Yeah, we were.
Or you could even help
concerned.
us.
Anyway, we got this.
So make me a deception check.
Which one of us?
Elzin, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know. Can I help?
Can I? Yeah. Can one of us help?
Yeah, no, you were helping, so you have advantage.
It's a
let's
shame.
see.
I got +6. Probably better though.
That'll work. It's not terrible.
Let's see what he gets.
I picked expertise in deception.
Look, we're doing a lot of hard work down here. I'm sorry I fell asleep, but I have been working my ass off and they're not letting us take naps. And I am used to a nap every afternoon at 3.
Oh well, I like hold up. No, I don't.
Just
Stashed
don't
away.
just don't tell my boss that I fell asleep.
Why would
No,
we do that?
we would never.
Your secret
Pebble-
is safe
Pebble-
with us.
Pebble goes up to the goblin and taps him and says, "Naps are magic."
Naps are magic. I agree.
Here, I thought it was friendship.
Do you want a hug?
You see, like there's a tear in his eye forms as he says, "Yes, I would
Nobody's
like
ever
a
asked
hug."
me for that.
and Pebble gives him the most genuine, nice hug. It's a little cool, which is off-putting, but because of the ice on his chest, it's still nice.
And he also hugs you back. More tears in his eyes now after the hug. You're so nice. I wish
No, you're
I wish there were
nice.
more people like you.
Ah, what? Thank you. You're pretty cool too. I'm sure you're awesome. We'd have great adventures if we stayed, hanging out together. But I gotta get back with my friends.
I got it. Safe travels to you.
You too.
So it takes a fair bit of effort and some time. In fact, you probably are going to have to unload the chest in part, at least, to get the chest up through the doorway using like just ropes. I assume you all have ropes, or at
Yeah.
least Lee does. I didn't think to ask, but you were dragging it using ropes. So, but eventually you get it up and then carry the stuff you had to take out back up with you. The goblin says he doesn't really know where this blanket came from. You can use it to wrap some of the books and card them up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very kind.
Is it
So
a
you
nice
get-
blanket at least?
It's probably you probably could sell it for like a gold.
That's a pretty nice blanket.
No, it's a luxurious blanket.
I mean, it was a part
Egyptian
of a set,
wool.
part of a set kept in a fancy box.
Masterwork blanket.
1,000 thread count.
Mm.
That was the real treasure they wanted to store here.
Yeah.
They're fucking like, is it decorated at all? Like,
There are symbols on it in like a silverish colored thread in this otherwise white blanket.
This might be a good peace offering to the Silver Flame people.
But I wanted to keep it. It's
No.
so nice. I think we could just
Is
go out.
anyone trained in religion?
Nope.
No.
What
No.
do I
Okay.
care about religion? Never done anything for me.
So yeah, you're not sure why the church had a box of blankets.
And prayer rugs or
I say
something.
we just go out the rear window where they can't see us and leave. Or at least stash this box somewhere. And all the
I
police
mean,
stuff.
yeah, there are a lot of refugees like out on the street. Like just putting the box somewhere might somebody might come and loot it. This is fuel if people wanted to start fires.
Yeah, but they won't mess with it for if there's somebody left there.
Right. You could keep somebody there to guard it.
They don't know Pebble.
Right. And you know, whether or not somebody would still try to open up, this is a large, fancy chest. So there are criminals down here too. There's crime. One penguin might be assaulted if they think they can get something out of it.
That penguin can defend itself. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go to let's just leave. We'll figure out what they say.
So you go back, you're back inside the temple.
We're doing it live.
Right. In the temple that you don't see any of the Silver Flame people, at least not in the cathedral section of it.
Yeah.
You do see there are many refugees that are still milling about that essentially are just sort of have set up little makeshift camps inside the cathedral. So are you going back to Elatel? There you would find Silver Flame people.
Yeah, that's fine. I I wanted originally to avoid it, but this stuff is so heavy. Trying to get it out of the damn window.
So you make your way out of the temple again to the front of the building, and Elatel and the shepherds are there. There are also several Silver Flame adherents that are milling about. They see you dragging this large, heavy chest out, and Elatel comes up to you. Is that everything? Did you get everything?
This is everything. He's he pats the top of this chest. This is 350 pounds of pure documents.
Well, there was more, right? We couldn't get all of it, right?
Right. There was more, but
Oh,
there were other small chests that didn't all
Yep,
fit into this one.
everything. Even some bonus material.
So she calls for one of the Silver Flame people to go find Orson, who she names, and that guy goes running off into the cathedral. And eventually, you see the leader of the Silver Flame people come out, the priest Orson. And he opens up the chest and begins to look through it. He's pretty thorough, so it winds up taking him a while, but he doesn't see anything that he finds troubling. I guess we had a deal, so you can take all this with you.
well, thank you.
May you find what you're looking for.
Well, we are looking for peace in the long run. Maybe that's what you're looking for too. I guess we'll see.
Our goals may be more aligned than you think. Best
I
of luck.
hope that's true. And
Looking to rest.
Elatel casts a spell and you see a little disc forms underneath the chest and lifts it up into the air.
Can I go in yet?
I assume you're still on top of the chest.
Oh.
Once it was closed again,
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
right?
This is so cool.
We could have used your help. Instead, Lee had to drag all of this.
I helped a little.
Little, yes.
Listen, you're
Well,
lucky you got that.
perhaps next time I'll go with you if we ever have another opportunity to do this. But someone also had to stay with the apprentices.
Right.
It,
And you
it
owe
was rather
Peggle
dangerous.
100 gold pieces because we had to pay the goblins to get the thing out of here.
What?
Just
That is
nod,
true.
Pebble. Just nod.
Oh, okay. I can do that. I can.
He's
Is
not
this good
amazing.
enough? Am I nodding right?
Yeah.
He's not amazing with numbers.
No.
So she leads you back to the place where you came in. There's no bridge here, but you see she takes out a whistle and begins to blow on it. You don't hear anything, but you see flying in the distance a sky sled flies up. This should be able, I don't think we can fit all of the apprentices and your chest, but it should be able to take at least the five of you and the chest back to the university grounds.
Well, I'll not say no to a ride on the sky sled.
We'll follow along once you've gotten off of the sky sled. I'll call it back to take some of the rest of us. It'll take several trips to get us all home, but you can take this back to Shepherd Hermas.
Very well. Thank you.
Ta-ta.
So you get in. There's no pilot or anything inside the sky sled, but it immediately flies back to what, the former grounds of Moorgrave University. Almost immediately, though, as you fly away, the little disc disappears and the chest settles back to the floor of the vehicle.
Hey, so Lily, why do I do this now? And he's holding the bag of gold.
Oh, she didn't pay you. She would have said
Oh,
Shepherd Hermas. She didn't have 100 gold on her.
okay.
But Shepherd Hermas, she would have said, will reimburse you.
Yeah, well.
So you get back to Moorgrave University, or at least relatively close to it, and slowly drag the chest, eventually finding Shepherd Hermas, who calls for more apprentices to come and take the materials out of it. Good. I'm glad you have returned. Was there any difficulty? It took you longer than I expected to get back.
Great difficulty. There were Silver Flame who besieged the church with their moral impurity, and then there were goblins, and they didn't get along, and we had to deal with both of them. But we made it through.
Dungeon
Unfortunately,
delvers. Those
Tosh
goblins.
Fanon fell victim to
I
in the bite.
I noticed that your warg friend wasn't here, and I see you have a Pengal with you. It's been a
Hi.
very, very long time since I've seen a Pengal. I had heard a rumor that some Pengals had arrived.
Oh yeah, that was me and my family.
This is
When did
Pebble.
you get here?
I don't know. We've been here about a year, maybe.
Pebble, by any chance, would you happen to have had a
How
relative
do you
named?
know my name?
Because Elzen just said it.
Oh.
He said, "This is Pebble."
That's what those words mean.
Do you know if you ever had an ancestor named Peeble?
Probably.
I used to know another Pengal who was a friend of mine, a good
Oh, you
friend of
knew a
mine,
Pengal?
many centuries ago, yes, before the world fell.
Yeah, Pengals make good friends. All my best friends are Pengals.
Peeble was Peeble was a very good friend. I imagine most of your friends from your life would have been Pengals, since not many other species live where you do.
Well, just some of them. I mean, there's a Goliaths and there's some dwarves, and then yeah, that's about it.
He looks at you and he looks a little sad, a little wistful, thinking of his friend, and says, Peeble was very, very intelligent. He was a good companion. I see there is great variability in your species.
Those are big
Yeah.
words.
Piley's just like,
Thank you.
I thought this was a wizard experiment gone wrong when we found him.
I don't know the
you're,
origin of the Pengal people.
you're telling me this is an intelligent creature. Well,
Clearly as
yeah,
intelligent
yeah.
as any other.
Yeah.
All right.
But I
Uh,
can say Pengals are a blessing. You should feel honored to have one in your midst.
I'm quite honored.
In
Pebbles.
fact, with the tragic loss of your warg friend, maybe Pebble should take his place. What do you say, Pebble? Would you like to travel into the past and possibly help save the world?
I get to go on more adventures with my new friends.
Yes, we will be sending them into the past at some point once we find a suitable mission for them.
Huzzah!
And he explains to you the mission of the shepherds and what they do. Some of it probably goes over your head, but you get the gist of there'll be some adventure.
I am preening in the corner.
So I get to go on
the same.
new adventures. I get to hang out with my new friends, and in it, I get to maybe help my family. This is like a
Yes.
win-win-win-win-win.
All we have to do is we need to insert a Sybaris shard into your body. But it will give you the
Okay.
ability to send messages to your friends by whispering to them.
Elzen realizes what that means.
Is that the best
No.
idea?
But I can whisper to them right now.
Right, but
Yes.
you'll
He's
be able
right.
to do
It's
it
true.
at 120 feet, even if
That's a
they're
lot of
like
feet.
behind walls.
You can just imagine like trying to go to sleep and you just hear like Pebble, he's sleeping yet?
Hey, are you asleep?
And there's nothing you can do to tune it out.
What are you thinking about?
Yeah, or
I've
even not
been
even
thinking
that.
about-
You
I
I've
was just
been
thinking about
thinking
this
about-
time when I saw fish swimming in a circle, and it kind of looked like it had one scale that was like a rainbow. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about
diet.
throttling a small creature.
or it's just all night long. You just hear, "Loo loo loo, I've got some fishies. Loo loo loo, you've got some too."
This motherfucker sleeps for 30 seconds and then is immediately awake, like fully awake. That's all the sleep they need.
Right. So I assume you re-raised the point about getting 100 gold for paying
Oh
the goblins.
yes,
Oh,
of
no,
course.
no, yeah,
yes.
I was going to bring this up.
Oh
On
right.
top of that, these goblins, they extorted us for an obscene amount of money. What was it? 150 gold pieces?
Peleus, don't exaggerate. It was 125. Come on.
Well, that seems like
Okay,
a
I wanted an
small.
extra 25 for myself.
seems a small price to pay for avoiding a conflict.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sure we can. I'm sure we can find that amount to reimburse you.
It would be
Yes.
very helpful.
Slowly, so you see Elatel returns in the sort of last flight of the sky sled. Um, and she reports in on what happened, that there was a slot that emerged from one of the refugees' bodies on the lower level, and that they had to fight it. And gives her report. Hermes explains to her that other shepherds have come along, other apprentices, and they're going through all the documents you brought. It'll just take some time to read through and see what's there, and hopefully answer the mystery of why this was all deposited in the catacombs beneath some obscure old temple. Are you sharing with him the tablet?
Yeah, I wouldn't see a reason why we wouldn't at
Okay.
this point.
I think so. Yeah, I'm curious about it.
So we would tell
He's
him
our best chance. Yeah,
Randus.
yeah.
One of the interns was one of the interns must have been a double agent.
No. They were killed and clothes taken because we
Yeah.
found their body.
Between Paelius and Elatal, I don't know whether or not Elzin would have figured this out, but Randus was just somebody who killed one of the interns and took his robe, and then was posing as the intern because he figured you wouldn't know who all the interns were anyway. So he was a spy of a sort, but he wasn't. He hadn't infiltrated the shepherds directly until you got down there. In fact, he was posing as one of the Silver Flame people before he did that. So, but as soon as you hand over the tablet, Hermes takes the tablet and recites an incantation over it. All of the runes that are dancing across the surface begin to sort of cohere and form into words on top of that hover just above the surface of the tablet. And you see his face goes a little pale. This is this is a little bit troubling. I will need to discuss this with the other shepherds, but you should come back this evening and we should have more information. This was this was good work. I'll see
This-
to it. Perhaps perhaps we'll give you a little something extra for finding this.
This evening, how about in the morning? I mean, it's been a long day.
I'm sure whatever we find will hold. In fact, we'll probably know
Yes.
more by tomorrow morning. So that's fine. Come and find me again tomorrow.
Good call. I need my beauty sleep.
All right, so what are we guys doing now?
You're still here. I forget. It's so small.
I'm always here.
Well, if you
Hyelius
liked,
enjoying the chance to say that someone else is small as he towers over you at 5 feet.
Is are they going to pay us the 125, or is that something we got to get back later?
You have to come back later.
Okay.
He said
That's
he'll,
fine.
he'll have it ready.
Okay, that's okay.
if you're hungry, we can find a little we can find a house Galandra inn, and we can get a meal and relax.
So there are taverns. House Galandra more or less distributes food directly. So there are aid centers from which House Galandra operates. Pretty much in every tower, every level will have one aid center. Not at that last bottom level you were at. That's just for the people who don't fit into society at all. There are also taverns where that's like one of the few places where you can spend gold. They're not exactly black market, but they're sort of gray market because the government doesn't exactly encourage the establishment of these independent taverns. But you can go there and spend money to get more food than you would get from House Galandra.
Is there a house enclave that would be in this area of the city?
Not exactly where you are. Up in the Skyreach section, the floating sections above the city, that's where the Dragon Mark houses tend to have enclaves.
Okay.
And even you might be able to argue for letting this group of ruffians up into the Skyreach section, but you'd be challenged.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you're willing to sort of show off your dragon mark, it would be easier to get them up there. I mean, that's another one where that is like a different world. If you go to the Enclave, there's plenty of food and better quality food than you would get if you were, living with the poor people.
Yeah. Well, I guess Eldon just kind of he keeps that to himself. He will flex that muscle later uh, when it's more advantageous or pressing. Well, we can find a an aid center or one of the taverns.
Wait, that's not good.
So you
Always fun to be had at a tavern.
So you
But
you have to make your way off of the tower you're in now, as this is, nobody lives in this particular tower where Morgrave University was. This is essentially the shepherds and a few other privileged organizations. But you make your way to Ocean View, which is adjacent to this tower, and there's a bridge that leads you there. And you're able to find a tavern.
all right, we'll go inside.
Does it have a name?
Yes, it does. It's the Pickled Orc.
Allison orders picklebacks.
So they start to bring you out stuff.
Are there any dice games going on in this establishment?
Not at the moment, but you could start one. There are enough people in here that you could probably get people to join you.
I don't know about that. I was going to join. Yeah. I'll just yeah, I'll drink some water and just uh preen some more.
Um, yeah, Pebble will order a beer and he'll ask if they have any fish.
So they wouldn't have fish, but they would have a beer. And Elzen, they would have pickled eggs. I don't know if Pebble can eat pickled eggs or Lee. It might be like akin to cannibalism.
I have no problem eating pickled eggs. Pickled eggs sound good.
So they're
And
willing to bring you as many pickled eggs as you want, especially since they're pretty salty. So they make you pretty thirsty.
salty is good. And while Pebble is waiting for the order, you notice that he's like shaking pretty bad from time to time.
Like shaking how? Like he's cold?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you cold, Pebble? Are you uncomfortable?
Um, I'm with my friends, so I'm doing pretty awesome right now.
That's
Wait. Oh, you guys are kind of like the Goliath and the dwarves, aren't you?
Mm, What
do
do
I
you
look like
mean?
a Goliath or a dwarf?
Well, no, you don't look like them, but like, the you get you don't always feel cold.
No.
No, only when out in the cold.
Uh, See, Tangles, we're always cold. We're so cold all the time. It's ever since we were born, we're always cold.
It sounds dreadful.
You know,
Quite.
it's not so bad. You know, as long as we have people that we love and can hug and can hold and can hang out with and have cool adventures with and can tell jokes with, like that's all we really need. And then we warm ourselves up with our hearts.
I'll
That
take a
doesn't
beer.
doesn't work. Yes, where's wine, please, your finest.
So, so that there's this myth that my people, we all believe that there's a reason that we're always cold. Would you like to know the reason?
I think we're gonna find out.
I
what is the reason?
Well, see, there long time ago, there was a really bad guy that was living in the the Frostfell with us, and somehow someone put them in a prison. But in order to keep them in the prison, me and my people, we always have to carry around this ice over our chests. And he kind of opens up his robes a little bit to show that his chest is like covered in ice. And and this
Someone
ice,
across the bar is like, he's pulling his dick out.
He's cut off.
this ice, it never goes away. It never melts. It's always cold. But you know, as long as Pangles exist, and as long as we feel cold, this great evil stays in its prison. And so that's something to feel pretty good about.
I can imagine when Pebble is telling the story, whoever he's sitting next to, he's like scooting his chair and he scoots over and like wraps himself in whatever cloak, or if it's Lee, his feathers, and kind of like he's telling the story, like he's snuggling in.
Yep.
How long
Things I
ago?
things I never thought about. I just had to look up whether or not penguins even have a penis-like thing. They do not. So I don't know what that means for Pengles.
How long ago did your ancestors?
Lose their pee.
They just fell off because it was so cold.
Yeah. That was the first thing to go after the chest became ice. How long ago did your ancestors guard this prison?
Oh, nobody knows. Pretty much since forever, I think. So yeah. So if you ever see me shivering, it's just because I'm always cold, and if you see that, it's probably a good time to tell me a joke, or give me a hug, or so that we could just hang out.
Well, good thing we're hanging out now.
It is a good thing we're hanging out now. I'm so happy to have met you guys.
The guy on the far side of Pebble gets up and moves like 3 seats down.
Uh, I'm sorry if I offended you.
He looks over at you and says, You almost radiate gold.
I'm
You're
kidding.
making me
Yeah.
feel cold.
I'm sorry about that. I thought you were gonna say I smell like fish, which I think is a good thing, but some people don't really like it.
Is that what that smell is? I haven't smelled fish ever before.
Yeah, that's what the smell is.
If I were another character, I would say it's clear you haven't had a girlfriend.
So, Lee, you notice that in a corner of this tavern, someone starts up a dice game.
Damn it. I have to excuse myself and walk over there.
Don't see many Arakakra down here. You interested in joining the game?
No. Oh, I see you have a dice game. Just happen to notice. Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I got twist my talons. Okay.
So you see there is a small pile of silver on the table, 5 silver on the table. Well, you're going to have to put in a silver to play.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I put in a gold piece. I don't have any silver.
I mean, everybody got 50
Oh, they did?
silver.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, my bad. How much?
You got 50 silver and 2 gold from the chests in the church
Oh, okay.
and
My bad.
one of the gems.
Right, I wrote down the gem with it. 50 silver pieces. Okay, yeah, I put in the 5.
Right. So that would double what's in the pot right now. You just have to put in one. That's the ante.
Oh, I thought you said 5. I'm sorry.
There are 5 there because there are 5 people playing.
I'll put in 1. Okay.
And are you proficient with dice?
I have a gaming set. I guess that makes me proficient, right? It's a tool
Right.
set, gaming set, yeah.
So the way I will do this is there are 5 people playing. So you have to, in order to take the pot, you're going to have to beat them. So it'll be a DC 15, which is just a +1 per player. So roll me your gaming set with, all your proficiency bonus. I guess what attribute would it be? It's not really like a game of dexterity. It's probably more intelligence to see if you can correctly guess how the dice will roll.
Wisdom?
You can go with wisdom as you try to guess what the dice will roll. Rely on intuition.
Right. Wisdom. See.
So you win and you get your silver piece back and their 5 silver pieces. And a number of them get mad and groan and wander off. The guy who's there said, You rolled well. Can't be mad about that."
Um, how much are the drinks here?
The drinks are a silver each.
So the 4 of them, I assume the 4 of them all groaned and left.
Yes.
I will buy them each a drink with the silver. So
Uh,
technically,
that
break
that
even.
lightens the mood a fair bit.
And
As
return it back
essentially
to
essentially you just spent the money that they put in that they would have spent on drinks anyway.
Yep.
So eventually, as you're sitting in this bar, you see someone comes in and announces that curfew is coming. People should make their way back to their homes.
Uh-oh. I don't know how I'm gonna get home from here.
Where is your home?
Well, it's not too far away from that church was.
I bet Elzen has some space in his place.
Yes, yes, I'm sure he does. He invites us
Wait a
over
minute.
all the time. We can't seem to make it, but
Are we about to have a sleepover?
sounds like it.
Well, I could spare some accommodations. Of course, it is our nature. It is the service that House Galandra provides to
Good
everyone.
man.
Oh,
Like pat
Elsie,
him on the back. Good man.
Elsie, you're gonna be my best friend. I can tell.
This can be a good or a bad thing, but
Oh,
I
it's a
think it's a
very
good
good
thing.
It's a
Elzen's
very
like,
good thing.
Elzen's like, don't threaten me, Penguin.
So yeah, do we stay with the shepherds or do we all like kind of go back to our own thing?
So the shepherds do have dormitories. Like literally, they were once dormitories for students who were staying at the university. Any one of you who wants to could stay there. I imagine Elzen wouldn't. Like they'd be pretty scale and bare bones for Elzen's experience. So, you could stay at the House Galadra Enclave above, which is, more luxurious than you're going to get elsewhere in the city. So House Galandra will assign people places to stay, mostly on the levels lower than the one you're on now. You're in the sort of highest level of the upper reaches at the moment. So there is, other than the skyway above you, there's pretty much blue sky over top of you at the moment, when it's not raining, which it often does. But this is a relatively privileged area of the city. So Pebble might not be assigned to this level, but Pebble could get a bed. It just usually takes a couple days. And that Pebble was apparently relegated to the lowest levels suggests that uh, he or his people haven't really found a place in the city yet. Because down there you just sleep wherever you can and defend yourself as well as you might.
Gotcha. So Elzen would say, well, you can come back with me and I can see if we can arrange for different accommodations for you and your family.
Oh, really? My family too?
Yes, the House Galandra is in charge of uh, helping, or they're in charge of hospitality and helping people get on their feet and get housing. So uh, we run all of that. So
I'll have to talk to them. We made some really good friends down there, and we don't know if it would be, you know, we want to make sure that we still will have the opportunity to see all of our good friends that we made down there.
very well. Well, I'll put in the paperwork because it's a process, and then you can talk about it before it manifests.
I don't know what much of that means, but I trust you.
Outside, you see civil servants are walking by lighting. The ever-burning torches that they use don't necessarily burn all the time, but they have wands that they use to ignite them so that they'll burn through the night. So he goes around torch to torch, setting up lights for the nighttime as the sun sets.
What's the
Uh,
nicest place I can get? I can have access to.
I mean, so because you've actually sort of done work as a mercenary, you could probably the nicest place really would still be the dorms. But you would have had like a permanent place assigned to you. It would be assigned to you and many other people.
Hmm.
but you would have
Yeah,
a place to stay
but
even without
I
the
got
shepherds.
paid. I got paid. I want to treat myself right, you know.
Right. You definitely could find like a black market room. Black market rooms tend to be used by criminals,
Uh-huh.
or, people who are seeking criminal activities. They tend to be, nicer if you can pay for them.
Yeah, seems fine.
So yeah, you make your way to one of those establishments. As you walk in, several women look eagerly at you, hoping that you're there to buy their services. Several men too. They don't know what you're into.
Gotta hedge their bets.
Right.
Right.
Changelings who will basically be whatever you want.
I just go to wherever a front desk is of whatever. I'm sure I don't see a face.
Right. Well, yeah, yeah. The person behind the front desk is another changeling, so you see just blank white eyes staring back at you, and they
Yeah,
sell you a room for the evening and charge you a gold.
sounds good. I give him a gold. I give him, I give him gold, and I'm like, I give him five more silvers. Like, keep it quiet around me, please.
Yes, sir. And Lee, you either could stay with the other Arakakra in the city,
Yeah,
who
before
who
I
would
leave,
be, God,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, who would be, because, you have sort of a unique role as messengers, you would be on one of the higher towers, so have access to the sky. But
Okay.
otherwise, it's nothing special.
Before I leave the tavern, I will purchase a brick of suet because I'm sure they have it here at the pickled
Orc.
Orc Tavern. Probably the leftovers of like nuts and insects and various items that they. So I'll buy that, and I'll purchase some pickled eggs, however many I can get. Uh, Turning my beak away from them because that's kind of disgusting, but I'll buy some of those and make my way to uh, where the poorer section is. Find some. I probably know some urchins or some areas where black market gaming and stuff goes on, and I will
Yeah.
give the pickled eggs to some of the poor urchins.
Okay.
Um,
So you
and then
get they bring you out a jar of pickled eggs that they'll sell you for gold.
yeah,
And there's like, 25 pickled eggs in that jar.
okay,
So the urchins mob you when they realize you're giving out free food.
right. I will try to give them each one.
A second. Make me a perception check.
And
So you notice one of the urchins is trying to pick your pocket. As he swallows, horks down a pickled egg.
I look at him and say, "Why are you doing that? What do you want?"
Money or whatever else you have of value. I'm sorry, we don't run into people who have stuff to give away, so I assume you're one of the rich ones.
No, I'm not one of the rich ones. I'm just one of the ones who actually takes time to help you.
Can I have
If
another
you
egg?
try to if you try to steal my money, then others won't get food.
But I'll have money then. I can get food. Papa always says you got to look out for yourself.
Okay.
So
All
seeing
right.
you're not going to savagely beat him, he runs off.
Yeah. I'm not going to savagely beat him.
You could fly him down, smack him with the shield.
No.
Not yet.
Your eagle instincts kick in when you see your prey running.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. You'd been fine if you just walked away. Once you started running, buddy.
The eagle eyes lock on.
Yeah, I will go
Go
back
wide
to
like when a
the.
cat goes.
Yeah.
I'll go back to the clutch and sleep in our communal area, wherever that is.
So, Elzin, are you taking Pebble with you back to Skyway?
Yes. I just imagine like being next to Lee and then like seeing like a cat run across and like his eyes just go black like, as he locks onto it and just has to like shake it off. But yeah, he's taking Elden's taking Pebble back to the Enclave or at least where Elden stays.
So, you have to make your way back to the sort of central towers first in order to get a sky sled to fly you up to the Skyway. And when you get to the Skyway, immediately someone steps out and says, papers?
He just shows his tattoo, his dragon.
So he sees the dragon mark and he doesn't challenge you further, but he does stop Pebble. Papers?
He is with me. I'm
We're
helping.
not supposed to just let anyone in here. I
He's my
realize
plus one.
I realize you're a member of House Galandra, but we're not supposed to just let the riffraff in. This is my job. If I don't do it, I get sent down to the lower levels.
Well, Pebble here is not riffraff. You're muted.
I said, no, my name is Pebble. I'm not riffraff.
Look, he's only going to be here. He's only going to be here for a little bit.
Make me a persuasion check with advantage. He's willing to let Pebble go since Pebble's with you. He tells you that you'll probably get challenged again. Pebble certainly will get kicked out of here if you let him out of your sight.
I appreciate it. I don't plan on letting him stray.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get any farther away from my best friend than I absolutely need to.
So you take him back to the Galandra Enclave. Pebble, you almost certainly never seen a building as fancy as this. These buildings all have like lawns around them and there are trees growing. It's a little overcast and it's nighttime now, but in the daytime, you imagine this would be quite a sight. It's the fanciest building you've probably seen since you left Stormhome.
Oh my, this is so cool. And you actually live here?
I do. I started working for House Galandro uh, when I was born. My parents worked for here or worked for the house, and at some point I uh, was able to become a member through
You must
chance.
you must be able to share this place with so many friends and family.
It is my home. I owe my life to the House Galandra. It's done a lot for me, and it does a lot for for Sharn. It's not Sharn. It's Sharn. Sharn.
Show
Go,
Sharn.
Sean.
Shosharn. Yeah, it does a lot for Shosharn and
Yeah.
Stormhome.
Well, it's very cool. But what about Lily and Haley? Why did they
House Galandra has a fairly they have a very strict policy about visitors.
come?
But
Why?
I that's a tale for another time.
It seems
I mean,
great
and
to have so much
entering
space
in,
and not to share it with as many people as you can.
We try to share other spaces with people, not particularly this one.
entering into the building, I mean, one thing you notice immediately is that the lower tower absolutely stunk. It smelled like rot and decay, and there were plenty of corpses around. There's none of that up here. Everything, even the streets, they seem to be immaculately clean. Inside the enclave, it's marble floors and fancy hardwoods and gilding. Everything is also brightly lit, whereas there were torches in the cathedral, but otherwise outside of the cathedral, everything was pretty much pitch black down on the level your family is living in.
This place is so dope.
Well, you can stay here for the night. Um, but we'll try to see if I can. I'm gonna see if we can try to get you and your family to different accommodations. They will be maybe a little, maybe higher than where you're currently at, and almost certainly better.
Okay.
But
Well, well, this I yeah, thi- this is just so cool. I'm so glad that I chased that guy with you guys because I would never have met you had I did not did that. And then now we are best friends.
yes,
I can't wait to have you meet my family. They're gonna love you. And then you'll have more best friends.
he's just like kind of glazes over, thinking about five of them, five pebbles. I'm sure it'll be quite a sight to behold.
Oh yeah.
So are
So
you going to arrange for Pebble's family to be located and moved from where they are?
he is. Yeah, he's gonna start filing the paperwork.
Yeah, I mean, so while there's not that much in the way of actual physical paperwork. House Galandra certainly has enough people who work for them, some of which are members of the family, some of which aren't. You more or less have to explain the situation to someone. Um, and then it's just a question of whether or not Pebble is going to sort of go find his family down there with them, or they're just going to have to hunt around. They're willing to do either. They do ask about like what sort of work can these Pengals do, as everybody has to work to earn a spot,
Well, we could do all kinds of things.
such as.
Well, we're really good fishers. And 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 my my one my his name is Bogan. He can make baskets and he's good at weaving. And he can weave rope too.
Those are all skills we can use, mostly down in the cleared land. Especially the fishing might be useful as we don't have many proficient fishers.
Oh, all Pagels are the best fishers. Yeah, we're really good fishers.
There are some people who won't eat fish because they fear they might be infected with the bite. But as far as we know, the fish are actually fine.
Cool. Well, that's definitely something that all of my family can do is fish. They all have their own unique skills too. I can't remember what all of them are, but they're all awesome.
Well, it sounds like it should be easy enough to find you work, and then once we found you work, it'll be easy enough to move you into a regular living facility. One of the community apartments, I'm sure will have an opening for your family, at least a room that you can all live in
A
out of the
whole
lower
room?
level.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And he turns to both of you and says, "Well, I'll make sure to organize it." You explain to him where your family can be found, and he says he'll report back with where they wind up putting them up.
Yeah, a room would be cool because right now we have a corner. It's like a broken wall, and then it's connected to another broken wall, and then we have a tarp over it, and then that's our place.
Well, it's your lucky day, Pebble.
Oh,
So you
I
eventually later that evening you hear back that Pebble's family is going to be moved to the what used to be the Oak Bridge section, which is in northern Sharn in the middle levels, but you're going to be moved to one of the higher parts of the Oak Bridge section, which is normal, which is relatively normal residential property for workers in Shosharn. And they give you an address so that you can find your family again.
okay. I'll have my friend Elsie help me find this.
Yes, LZ.
Yes. Elsie. It's Elzen. It's Elzen.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Pango tradition that when we have somebody that we really like, that we have their end of their name end in a E, because it's like it's close to wee, which is the coolest thing you can experience. So
Well,
so so I call you Elsie, and then there's Lily, and then there's Pelly.
well, I'm not one to I'm not one to go against tradition. And I
I
appreciate
mean, I don't mean to offend. So if you really want me to call you Elton, I will do that because you are my friend and I want to make you happy.
well, Elzen for now.
Okay. Elzin.
And he's just like he just kind of shoots a glance over at at the guy. Well, we must be on our way. Thank you for your help.
So he goes off to continue his work. And you go and find your bedroom and find guest quarters for Pebble to sleep in. You wonder what Pebble's people call him, Pebbly? You don't know. You wonder if Lee will someday beat Lee. So you all get a good night's rest.
Amazing.
So anything you're doing the next day before you head back?
Nothing I would be doing. Although when Elzen came to get Pebble, he would find him jumping on the bed.
You're like, no, 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 please don't do that. Those are 2,000 thread count.
It's an antique bed frame.
He then leaps off the bed into a belly flop, sliding across the floor, and then pops up right in front of you.
I trust you slept well.
Oh, this place is so much fun. And yes, I did have a good sleep, but everything is there's so many shiny things to look at and so many smooth things to touch.
Funnier, it would have been funnier if you said, "Sleep. I've been leaping on the bed all night."
Oh, saying that he started touching shiny things and smooth things, Alvin like casts like a worried glance and like looks around to see what did he touch all night.
Now, does he have like a Buddy the Elf type of breakfast? It's like spaghetti and syrup and M&Ms and syrup. Yeah, all that.
I mean, he would certainly try it.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, another thing Pebble would never have experienced is that they don't just like bring you stuff. Someone comes out and asks you what you want to eat so that the chef can prepare it.
Wait, wait. Well, what is there?
Whatever you want.
But I I don't understand.
So think of what you feel like eating, and our chef will prepare it.
I I can just ask for whatever.
Yes, I mean, within some reason, we have most things you might want.
Can can I get smoked salmon fillet?
I will see, but probably.
Oh my God, Elson, this place is so cool.
You
I
want
can't
smoked
believe you have
salmon
more.
for breakfast.
What's that?
You want it for your breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is breakfast now? Is that the
Yes,
meal we eat now? Then yeah,
yes.
now.
And I'll just
Very
have
well.
I'll have oatmeal.
Of course. So he goes off and gets you smoked salmon and oatmeal.
Oatmeal. I don't think I've had oatmeal before. What what is it?
There is fresh fruit sprinkled on the oatmeal and a bowl of berries beside it.
It's a healthy breakfast to stay sharp.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
The berries make it good. Without the berries, it's kind of bland.
Oh, yeah. We my family has been eating some very bland things down where we are. Uh, gruel, mostly gruel.
This is like better gruel, but
It looks better. I mean, it's so colorful. It's like a rainbow fish flower.
how is your salmon?
Oh, it's so good. It's been so long since I had salmon like this.
Well, I'm glad you could enjoy it. The chef does a pretty good job.
Yeah, he is a good person. What is would he want to be my friend? Should we go talk to him? I would like to tell him
This
how much of a good job he did with my salmon.
I'll let him know. The chef is very busy.
Oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, if he's making this good food, I mean, lots of people have got to be wanting some.
Yes, they have uh Hausgelände distributes food across Shosharn in the form of the aid tents. Though I don't believe it's as good as quite as good as the chef's, just because it's meant for more mass distribution than it is for individual consumption.
So Pebble is eating and he's just kind of going, with mouthfuls, uh, as you're talking.
Anyways, you should go see your family and make sure that they're settling in. I can bring you there, and then we'll want to meet up with with our friends to see to see what we've what Shepherd Hermes has learned.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought we were gonna go do that now. But if there's time for me to go see my family, then that would be cool.
Well, I'm sure they're worried about you. You didn't come home.
Eh, They probably are a little worried, but you know, I I I think that they would be okay with knowing that I didn't come home because I am, you know, I'm a pretty strong, capable Penguin.
Dad went out for a pack of anchovies and never came home.
Well, you see, I didn't share this because I didn't want to like make people think anything different about me. But I I am I am one of the last, maybe even the last monk of my people.
Really?
Yeah. Do, do- sorry, I forget. Sometimes I tell people that and they don't know what I mean. So do do you have monks and do you know what monks are?
Well, I'm aware of those who follow a monastic tradition. Um, usually believing in some some higher power, though not necessarily like a cleric. So I'm vaguely familiar. What
So
do
we,
what do
so
you follow?
so we are very much about discipline and the the creation of fire because we're always cold us Pengals, and so we have always tried to somehow harness the power of fire so that we could find ways of warming ourselves. And so that's the thing that I belong to. But I I am the last one because, well, I didn't see any of the other ones when we came over from the Frostfell Mountain. See, when we left the Frostfell Mountain, there were probably about 100 Pengals, and then, but now I don't know where most of them went. Only me and a few other of my family made it over. Yeah,
Um,
I'm hoping that maybe they got the storm home like a little bit after me, or maybe they found some other really cool place. But yeah, so
Allison's just kind of at a little bit of a loss for words. Um, s- that's that's a heavy burden.
Oh, you were going to say they let your kind into Stormhome? I'm stunned. There goes the neighborhood. So
so
you go to Oak Ridge, and you find the place where, at least the apartment where the Pengals are now being held up. It is all basically like one room in what was once upon a time a larger apartment, but it seems as though the Pengals have it to themselves. And as soon as Pebble comes in, everybody starts hugging.
yeah.
So, and that means every Pengal has to hug every other Pengal. So Even the ones
Yep.
who were like just talking a moment before now have to go and hug again. I don't know if you've seen Jojo Rabbit, but it's like the Heil Hitler scene in Jojo Rabbit where everybody has to heil everybody else every time.
Exactly. Um, so it wait, is Elzen coming with me
I mean, I that would
or
be the easy way because so Elzen, you have the privilege of being able to essentially command someone to take you there directly on a sky sled. Otherwise, it's kind of a circuitous thing to get from where you are down to the central plateau and then over to Oak Bridge.
Yeah, I mean, Elzen would go with him, just because he also said that he would,
so
and yeah,
something you would notice is it very much sounds like when there's a large group of penguins together that ack. Um, and but also you notice that even though all of them are warm and caring, uh, Pebble's a little different, just a little bit different than the rest of them. Like they don't all quite have his pure innocence, but all of them are really warm, and each of them do come over and greet you and try to hug you and offer to like be friends.
he accepts each offer graciously, but must decline. No, but he thanks them, and it's very nice to meet you all. Do you like this? Do you like the room?
It's way better than what we had down on the lower level. There we were, lucky to have the room to ourselves for even a moment, and you know, people stabbed one another a lot more than I've seen so far.
This part of the city is safer than the lower levels.
We're told that, we'll be given jobs and food and that we can stay here as long as we want, as long as we keep working, which we're happy enough to do.
Yes, they will fill you in, of course, on the details of your job, but I think it'll be well within your purview and your skill set.
He comes over and hugs you.
Yep,
It's
yep, that that's cold.
it's emotionally warm, but physically quite cold.
And then Pebble tells them all,
Yeah, my best new friend Elson, he's the one that set us all up here.
and then they all like take time to look around the room and find the nicest, shiniest little thing that they can bauble that they can find, and each one of them very, very carefully and intentionally puts it at your feet.
Oh, it's not necessary. Um, you keep it.
There's a small pile of things being arranged at your feet, and
Yeah. You see like little glass beads. There's one shiny seashell that clearly they must have brought with them.
Well, thank you. And he'll scoop them up and just
and,
put it in his pouch.
and then when you do that, they all go,
He's like this. He's a little shorter, I think, than the Pengals.
"Oh
So,
yeah."
so it's
Well,
definitely.
so actually, Pangol's can be small or medium. So Pebble is smaller than most of them as well.
So yeah, they're all like kind of above, like Same or bigger than Elzen.
Hmm.
You know, he could probably dress up as a penguin and uh and blend in with this crowd.
Oh yeah. And they would love it because that would be a sign that you want to be friends with them too.
Well,
If only Elsa had known he could have worn his tux.
well, Pebble, it's nice to meet everyone, but I'm afraid we must be going.
Okay. Okay. Bye, everyone.
And they all begin the process of hugging goodbye.
Half an hour later, Bevel's ready to go. So you all meet up and make your way back to the shepherds, and you're greeted by Shepherd Hermas, who says, there is both troubling and exciting news in that the archives both reveal that we may have a competitor that is also using a very similar process to travel through time, although their method is cruder and somewhat more dangerous. But also, it seems as though the archive that you found does have information about a possible candidate for a group that we were not suspecting previously, but may have something to do with the bite. Do any of you know who the Aurum are?
Does
Sorry, I'm late. Did we get paid yet?
He hands Lee a sack of 125 gold.
Oh, good.
The Aurum are a collection of people from the dragon marked houses mostly who wielded power in the distant past. They often were said to have a certain shadow government that some thought had in a conspiratorial sense, control over many of the nations after the last war. And he looks at Elzid. You don't know any of the lore of the Aurum?
Elzen, is he familiar with the Aurum?
Are you proficient in history?
He's not proficient in history.
So
I
you
actually
wouldn't
am.
really. So you might know. You can roll. My Zoom is covering the roll. So you would have heard of them and the rumors that they were essentially a shadow government that were pulling the strings behind the scenes. Uh, Mostly you would have heard to enrich the houses, but also to wield, particularly after the last war, to wield significant political power. Uh, and in fact, that Sharn was one of the major bases of operation for them.
Hmm.
You would also know that the leaders of this group each supposedly wore 10 rings of a single metal, usually one of the precious metals, and that the metal in question, the more valuable it was, the higher up that person was within the organization. And that they had something, whether this something was actually literally in control of nations and politicians, you don't know, but that's the rumor. But they supposedly had something called a shadow cabinet that at least had power over the organization itself. And the organization, at least nominally, was just there to sort of, charitable purposes and for the greater good of the dragon marked houses. So they played at being philanthropists to some degree. That was at least the public persona that they tried to garner. But everybody just assumed they were rich people out for themselves.
Hmm.
It seems as though the Aurum is going to, or once upon a time had some sort of meeting at the Black Pit in the Black Caps Mountains. And at this meeting, someone called the Shadow King summoned a miasma out of the Black Pit. The miasma is described as green and containing creatures, which sounds a lot like the bite. We don't know what happened there. We just know that it all happened on Aerith the First in the year 998. We think we can send you back in time just before then, so you can intercept them and find out what actually happened there. We don't know to what extent these reports are accurate. They might not be, but it is one of the better leads we've had in a long time. It sounds like it's spot on what we're looking for. And the Aurum was a very powerful organization who might well have tampered with things they should not have. Once you go back, you should gather as much information you can. Try not to be caught. You don't even necessarily need to interfere with them. And then take your information back to Sharn and find Delvius Moreth in Sharn. He should be working at Morgrave University. He's one of our agents, and he's been planted in the distant past a long time ago. He has ways of getting in contact with us, of sharing whatever information you find with us again. He will also be able to give you further instructions and further missions to go on that may aid in our cause. You should make preparations to go. Ideally, we will send you quickly now that we know there is another potential organization that is messing with time. We don't know who they are, but the tablet that you found does contain the equations needed to send people back in time. Hopefully, your intercepting it has delayed their efforts, but we don't necessarily know by how much.
Perhaps taking it will make theirs less accurate.
We have it sealed away. We don't think they'll be able to get it from us.
Good. Well, when do we leave?
As soon as you're ready. We're going to try to set you down in the Blackcap Mountains near the Black Pits. Sometimes we can either be extremely accurate in the time we set you down or the location, and there's a trade-off between the two. But we will get you there before Aerith the First 998. Hopefully a month or two before, which will give you time to get in position.
Well, that sounds good to me. Does it hurt going back in time?
No, it shouldn't be painless. You'll feel a little cold when you emerge on the other side, but otherwise, you'll be fine.
No.
We all appreciate the service you're providing to the shepherds. I wish you luck on your journey. This could be it. For all we know, this could be the thing that changes the world.
Well, we hope so.
So I don't know which of you want to say goodbye to whom, but you make your goodbyes and reconvene. And he leads you into a section of Morgrave University you haven't been in before. And apparently, Lee begins doling out coins. so, so everybody
Yes.
gets a little bit more. You are led into an area where you see enormous pendulums swing overhead, and you can hear the ticking sound of a clock. In fact, an enormous glowing clock face hovers in the sky above you, at the top of the ceiling of this very high vaulted dome of a room. Arcane lights begin to shoot in every direction around you from wall to wall in this octagonal structure, and the pendulum begins to slow and then begins to rock in the opposite direction as the clock begins to rewind, moving against the normal flow of time. The entire room fills with light, and you're all blinded. And when it clears, you find yourself not anywhere near what you imagine the Blackcap Mountains would have looked like, as you're on a very flat plain near a lake. You see a walled city in front of you, and next to you, you can hear the sounds of what sounds like organ music. And there is a sign in front of a very large tent that says, Shebop's Circus. And that's where we'll end it.
Great, a circus. You know what that means? Clowns.
And I don't know whether or not Mbop would recognize Shebop.
I'm sure she will. So this was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.